Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show, and I see there's a crowd piling in already. I'm hoping all everything's working okay. Oh, here we go. There's a crowd piling in already. Okay, I'm hoping all everything's working okay. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Figure out where this is coming from. Okay, I think I figured out the source of where it came from. So. All right, man, a little excitement there right out the gate. That's good. That's good. Guys, again, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show, and thank you guys for coming today. And we've got some really interesting things we're going to talk about. First off, my co-host Shannon, I know where she's at, and I know she's okay, but she, Shannon had a tumble the other day. Um, she just dropped a comment in a little while ago. I'll throw it up here real quick, and I'll just leave the details kind of low. But basically, someone tumbled down a set of stairs, and Shannon was on the stairs, and they ran into her as they were falling and knocked her down, and she got a concussion out of it and some other little injuries and stuff, and so Shannon is unable to be here today. But um, I would ask that y'all guys keep her in your prayers. And also Dan, our advisor that y'all guys see on here quite often, Dan is not feeling well again, and he still keeps taking the battle to the enemy head on over and over, and with his boots on the ground spiritual warfare that he does up against these things, and but he's not feeling well, and unfortunately I haven't heard from him in like 2 days, and I'm very worried about him. So we're going to say a quick prayer for Dan here and for Shannon and for all y'all guys out there, because I know a lot of people right now it's supernatural in nature as to how many people are really sick, really having all kinds of problems happening and stuff. And it's a sign of the times, absolutely, as to where we're at and why this show even exists is because of this. So, but with that being said, I would like to pray and ask Father if He would please, and if y'all guys would pray along with me, that our Father please keep His hand on His children more closely than ever. Father, I pray that you're there with them in their times of need and their times of trial and their times where everything seems to be working against them, and make sure to help them understand and remember that you're there, and there are ways, Father, that you can show that you're there, because I know that you've done it with me many times in my life, and some people need to see that, Father. It helped me be who I am and understand the things that I understand today. And I know you know all these things, Father, and but I can't help but still reach out and ask for you to make these make help these people understand that there's a reason why all these things are going on, and especially I'd like for you to reach and touch my sister Shannon. I know you've been sending angels around her lately, and I would ask that you please continue to watch guard, have the host, your host of heaven, watch guard on her. And I would like to put in a special request, Father, for you to please send angels to where Dan is at and to help him recover, because he still has a lot to give, Father. I would really appreciate it if you wouldn't take him from us at this time, Father. He's been helping me understand a lot of things that I'm just really worried about him because I haven't heard from him in a couple of days. Yeah, I'll use my shirt. But Father, I pray that you hear our prayers, and I know you won't allow our prayers or your word to return void. So I thank you for watching over us in these days that are coming forward. So many people are not ready for what's coming. I can't say that I am completely either, but I pray that you will help us keep our eyes open and our ears open, and so we can understand and discern what we need to understand and discern in these coming days. Father, in your name I pray. Amen. So, yeah, I'm pretty worried about those guys. And I'm pretty worried. I can't help but feel for all the people out there because I know so many people are struggling right now. Because I hear it from so many different ways because I have contacts with so many people, and it's just a lot of trial and tribulation going on right now for a reason because we're there. We're there. So, guys, what we're going to do today is we got a special guest here with us today, Karen. Some of you will remember her. She was here maybe a month or somewhere around there ago.
Yep.
And she was gracious enough to come back and talk to us again about some other things that she would like for y'all guys to hear and understand. And she's going to be sharing that with us here in just a few minutes. However, I've got a couple of things, one particular, several things particular, but one really big one that I want to uh, talk to y'all guys about, make you aware of, because the 2024 April 8th Great Eclipse is coming very quickly. It's going to be here before we know it. And I've got a plan that I want y'all guys to participate in. And I'm asking you that if you would please participate, if you can be or will be in the area of totality. Even if you're in Mexico, down going into Mexico, if you're down there and you can hear my words, please participate if you're going to be in the area of totality. And you may be saying, well, what am I talking about? Well, let me share my screen and I'll explain. And let's see, which screen am I sharing? Got more screens now than I used to have. It's getting kind of tricky. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let me share that screen. This is the website, the Supernatural.Show website. And on the website, you can see right beside the homepage, there's a new tab now. It's called the 2024 Great Eclipse. 2024 Great Eclipse. And this is the page on the website. And if you come here, okay, there's some details which I'm going to be updating on a regular basis. Some details kind of explaining what we're doing. But long story of short is that anyone that is in the path of totality going down through Mexico, coming all the way up through Texas and all the way across through the central U.S. and up through the Great Lakes area, and then going into part of Canada and into Maine and then into New Brunswick. If you're in any of those areas or even further, if that eclipse is going to be, if you can see, if you're going to be in totality, what we're looking for is people that will be in totality, because it is my belief that there are going to be some things they're going to be seen in the heavens. And there's never been anyone in the history of media, not even mainstream media, that has ever held a live stream going camera to camera to camera as the totality moves up across Mexico through Texas and all the way across the United States, or any kind of eclipse like this that I'm aware of. No one's ever had a camera on the totality, meaning when it goes dark, ever. And we have the ability to do this. We already have 6 people signed up to participate in this event and be camera people out on the ground. It's very simple. All you're going to be doing is basically doing what Karen is doing, which is to take your camera and you go out a little bit before totality. I'll have a link that'll be sent to you, because when you come here, you can register for this, and then I'll be in touch and communicating and giving you more details and instructions. But you just have to go out there with a full battery, because totality doesn't last that long. It's only about, let's say, 4 minutes, okay, something like that. But we'd want you there, with the camera before that and a little after, and basically be turning your camera to the sky instead of having the camera on yourself. And most cell phones will have the option on there where you can push the button where it'll switch the camera looking in the other direction instead of looking at you. And so if you have a professional camera, when you go to register, it's going to ask you those kind of questions. When you go to register here on the website, it'll ask you about what kind of camera you have, or if you're just using a cell phone, or whatever the case may be. So, but how awesome would it be, guys, to have a live camera all the way across the United States and have you guys doing it, okay? And then we'll be live during the whole event, which will be about 3 hours, something like that, for the eclipse to pass all the way from Mexico all the way across through Maine and into New Brunswick. That would be awesome. And there's a reason why SpaceX and, well, let's just say SpaceX, and NASA, why they've been putting so many satellites and doing so many rocket launches and putting things into the heavens, okay, in the lower heavens, very lower heavens. But they're putting them up there. You say, well, they're just getting internet access to people in Africa that are living in huts. Really? Okay. That may be going on if they've got $100 a month in that hut in Africa. Or it actually is more than 100, because you have to pay for the equipment and things like this. Someone who is so poor that they don't have access to the internet is not going to be able to pay for this stuff. There are multiple agendas that are coming along with Starlink, okay? And there's hints to what it is right within the name, Starlink. Star is another word for host or angel, okay? And then you've got the word link. And we don't know. There's not one of us here knows what the technologies that are on these satellites that they're putting up there are. They're in the shape of a cube. The Starlink satellites are all in the shape of a cube. So they've got these little tiny cubes, and they claim that they're going to be putting up a total of 33,000 cubes, Starlinks, satellites into the heavens all around our world, right? Is the agenda just to give us internet? There's no way that's possible. So whether it be Starlink or something else, they're going to take an opportunity during one of these eclipses to shock the world with their technology, okay? And it's going to look real. And if possible, we're going to have a camera on it. But the only way that's going to work is if y'all guys go to the website and we'll have a camera on it and I'll call it out for what it is. I may not understand all of what I'm seeing, but I'll do my best to call it out for what it is. And I will have predicted it and said they were going to do it. And it's just, this is a perfect moment that they're going to try to pull something like this. We're in an election year. We've got an ex-president that's trying to be president again, that they've turned into a Christ figure, where they have basically crucified him. And then now he's going to be resurrected back in the office again. And his mother's name happens to be Mary. His grandmother's name happens to be Mary Christ. And his father's name is Fred Christ, or Frederick Christ. So he's got a mother, Mary, and a father, Christ. And he's going to be resurrected after being shown to be that he's been being attacked and crucified, basically, and judged, literally. That's the show they're showing us. So, yeah. So if y'all guys would participate in this, I'd appreciate it, because the olives are ripe on the tree, and so I know that time is nigh on this kind of stuff. So just come to the website here. It's right beside the homepage. It's called TheSupernatural.Show, and click on 2024 Great Eclipse and come here and register. Okay. If it won't let you register, just in case, because I am not sure if it'll do it or not, but worst case, you may need to sign up to be a level 1 member. But I think I have it. I think it'll let you sign up no matter what. But if you're not a member, but level one is free to be a member on the website, and it gives you access to various things, including this, so that you can be a cameraman to show what is happening where your location is at during the totality of the eclipse. We're going to run it live during the entire eclipse. We're going to have the show live and have you guys as cameramen. We've already got 6 people. We need some more. All right. Let's see what else we got that I wanted to show you. And then we're going to be getting to Karen here pretty quickly. And because she's got some awesome supernatural stories, additional things she wants to share with us. This is also a new page on the website. It's called the TSS Investigator Tools. And I've kind of just started this page. But what it is it gives you links to websites and other tools that are going to be put here, that if you like to do kind of investigative kind of things and look into things for yourself, you can come here on the website. And these are some interesting tools that I've found over the many years that work well and have great capabilities, okay, in helping you be able to discern some things, you might say. And you can also suggest a tool. You can come down here and suggest a tool that would be added to the list that's going to be growing right here on this part of the website. And also, guys, we have, and I've mentioned it before, but we also have our live investigations room. Okay. Let's see here. I think this is it. What did I do with it? My internet's running a little slow. Sorry, guys. Apparently, which is seemingly impossible because it says it's running really good right now. Come on. I'm just trying to change one page here. That shouldn't be too difficult. Let's try again. It's called the TSS Live Investigations page. Here we go. And right now it's offline, but when an event takes place, guys, we're going to have this room where we can all come and gather and discuss what's going on without being censored or without being live. We can kind of get together as a group in a chat room where we can see and talk to each other. And this is another feature of the website for um, members of the website. So we can go there. It's a literal video chat room. And this is only going to be turned on basically when there's some big event going on that we all want to get together and talk about. So that's just another level of us being able to get together. So you got the tools that I just showed you. You got the live investigations room. And then you also have what's called the People's Live Show. The People's Live Show, everything that I create and put on the website ends up kind of modifying and changing. But the People's Live Show is for people that maybe like Karen that would like to have their own show maybe one day. And I'm not speaking for her. She hasn't told me this, but that is comfortable with speaking in public and has never met a stranger kind of thing. And you want to do your own show on the Supernatural Show. Maybe you haven't had the decade that I've had to build all these tools and build the audiences so that way when you go to speak, there's, ultimately be thousands and thousands of people all over the world that'll be hearing because we're live right now. We're live on 8 different platforms at the moment. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Logic Before Authority on YouTube. We're live on the Supernatural Show on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. We're live on Twitch. We're live on Odyssey. We're live on Kick.com. We're live on DLive, another live place that I just added. And we're also live on Rumble right now. So we're live all over the place, okay? And we've got just on the YouTube feed, I can see about 119 people just in the YouTube feed live, which is a very good number to be live like this. But if you're the kind of person that would like to speak out, like to tell the truth, like to talk about supernatural things or maybe even other things, if it's related to truth, I've got a way to set you up and put you live on a lot of platforms. And all you got to do, as a matter of fact, I need to update this to where it has a little sign up form here, where you come here and you sign up and then we schedule your date on the show. The way I started out doing it was thinking that I was just going to open the studio and allow people to come in and just go in and talk, but that's not going to work. It needs to be scheduled so that you have your own scheduled live show for you that you're going to be the host of. I may be there or I may be around, but it's going to be your show because this is the people's show. This is the people's website. From the very beginning, I've been telling you, I'm building y'all guys a platform. Y'all guys are the ones that support my work and allow me to not have to go out and get a job somewhere. So I'm building you a platform. I'm building you something that you too can use, just like I'm using right now, and just like Miss Karen is getting ready to do right now as well. Because now we're coming to Miss Karen. We're going to talk to her about what the supernatural is going on with her.
Well, I have a lot. It seems to follow me. I'm not quite sure why. But as far as Shannon and Dan, no weapon formed against us shall prosper, girl. You hang in there and you remain strong. It is a witness against the devil and the adversary that's against us. And he cannot do any more than the Father will allow for a witness of how strong you really are. You hang in there. Um, I had 3 things, but I think I might add a 4th one. Um, of course, everybody knows if you've been on the previous show, I'm a paramedic. I've been in EMS for over 30 years. So I've seen quite a bit. Um, Today, I wanted to talk about as far as when someone passes of what I've experienced supernatural wise. Firemen think I'm crazy. I don't know. I just know what I experienced. Um, I've had several times somebody code, and when I was working on them in the back, I just happened to be over their face. And when I smelt the smell and I don't even know how to describe it. I've never smelled anything like it before. And immediately something overcame me. I pulled up and I stood up, or sat back upright and looked at the fireman. I was like, she's gone. And he's like, what? I was like, she's gone. She's left her body. And he goes, what are you talking about? I was like, you didn't smell that? He thought I was insane. I've had that happen twice.
So
You'll have to find God, I'm telling you, because this next one, not the good kind. I had a guy that coded, and before he died, he was screaming that the demons were coming out of the floor of the ambulance when we were going down the road.
Oh my God.
He died, and we never got him back.
Mm.
The fireman looked at me and he said, do you really think he just went to hell? I was like, you saw it with your own eyes. And I didn't have to convince him of anything going on then, because the guy was screaming in holy terror. And we did everything trying to talk to him, because like hearing's the last thing to go. And let me say, you don't want to go there from what he did. That would be horrifying. Oh, it was horrifying experiencing that. And the look on the fireman's face was priceless. And I'm going to tell you, this stuff is real. It is so real. It is nothing to joke about.
Now you are, Karen, are you an EMT?
I'm a critical care paramedic.
Okay. And so you're saying you had this guy, he coded, and he was overdosing?
No. I don't even remember what we picked him up for. Didn't seem anything out of the ordinary that stood out. The only thing I remember is he was very ill. He wasn't feeling real well, and all of a sudden he just had this look of fear and horror on his face and started screaming blood curdling cries. They're coming out of the floor after me. They're coming after me. And we had him seatbelted because we're driving down the road, trying to get off the stretcher to get away from them. And he died, and we never got him back.
Wow. Yeah,
it's
I know that when you pass, angels, they come and collect you and guide you, you know.
It's one or the other.
But it's one or the other, I think, unfortunately. And boy, that's horrifying.
Yeah, that was probably, I've seen that one time, and let me tell you, it stopped me up for a little while, because I'm like, did he really go there? I was lost for words.
Yep.
And to know that I experienced that, and the fireman was like, he couldn't deny that. I mean, it was obvious. The amazing thing is, you know, the times I have smelt someone, when I've actually been over them, I've smelt a smell I've never smelled before come out of their mouth and nose. And then the first time I experienced it, I knew. And I just looked at the fireman. I'm like, they're gone.
Wow. Yeah. That reminds me of a documentary I did about angels. And there was one part of the documentary where I was showing the tsunami in Japan, where the helicopter was flying above the tsunami, and on March 11th, 2011, and the tsunami, that big, huge tsunami that came in Japan and ran way up on the land, and there were angels. The helicopter was filming, so he didn't know what he was seeing. He didn't know there were angels down there flying around, but there were angels going in and out of the water from one spot to the next that I was able to zoom in on and see. And because I know what they look like, they're bright white and round all about. They're the things that most people say, well, there's a UFO. You know, UFO has a connotation to me of like alien or something like that. And there's a lot of different kinds of spirits and things that will come in the form of an orb and stuff. But when you see big, bright, orbs in the sky that come out of nowhere. And I've seen them do all kinds of things, but we're not going to get into that. But anyways, the point is I've seen angels on video as well, going in and out of the water in Japan, coming to escort the souls, And so it just reminds me, going along with what you were saying there, Karen.
Yeah. I saw somebody where you posted up the comment about a coma. It made me remember my cousin. He rode motorcycles years ago, ended up having a motorcycle wreck, almost died from it, was declared brain dead. I guess you can say by the EEG where they check brain waves, no brain waves. They tried for 8 months to get my aunt to disconnect the ventilator from him, and she kept saying, no, he's going to wake up. No, he's going to wake up. And it went on, and finally the one day they said, all right, this is it. We have to take him off. We can't leave him on a vent forever. So she finally, I guess, felt, okay, it's time. Well, right before they did it, my cousin woke up. After being declared brain dead, he turned and he was able to, once he was off the vent and the tube was taken out pretty quickly, from my understanding, for my aunt. But he was able to tell that doctor everything that was said to my aunt about his condition in that room when he was brain dead.
Wow.
And the look on the doctor's face, my aunt said, was priceless. And he walked out and didn't come back.
Wow.
Because he couldn't explain.
We also have a comment. Don't change any comments for a minute. I've got another one I want to put up here in a second. We've got David with Jesus Freak Computer Geek, the YouTube channel Jesus Freak Computer Geek. If you're not subscribed to him, I'd highly recommend you going over and doing that. And he just put a comment. He said, my grandmother on my father's side also was screaming, help me, help me. They are tearing my flesh, just before she died. Oh, Lord have mercy. Man, David, that's heavy. Just like what Karen was saying. God help us. Father, please. If you're listening to my voice, you should be reaching out for repentance. Because why not? I mean, it would be insanity to be so stubborn as to realize that we all have an ultimate father. Yeah, it goes back through your grandfather and your great-grandfather, but there was a beginning somewheres, and that is our ultimate father, our Father in heaven. I also see Kelly Powell here. She said, a friend of mine overdosed in my bathroom at my house, and then he was in a coma, so we went to pray for him. I told my wife to pray with a friend of mine, and they saw Trey, my friend, in a river of fire. Demons were pulling on him, trying to pull him to hell. That night I fasted all night, and we went there the next day, and we actually saw a big white hand come down from heaven and snatch him out of hell. Wow.
Be pretty cool if God tricked him and devil thought he had some, and he takes them back for his own.
Right.
That would be tears of joy.
Kelly said, I preached the gospel to my friend while he was in a coma, and I believe that's why this big white hand came down from heaven and snatched him out of the fiery river of demons.
She was being an intercessor.
Yeah, she intervened on his part, and he must could still hear, and maybe even in his mind he was repenting, because there's always that chance, guys. But I'd say repent now. I mean, we're in this world, and you say, well, how can I repent? And then I'm still in this world where I'm still a sinner, because we were born into sin. We can't help it. That's why I cry. That's why God, my Father, sent the image of himself, his own son, down in order to give us a way out of this situation, because it was something that we could not fix it otherwise. So he allowed it and suffered himself to come down and die on the cross for us to give us a way out. And some people out there say, well, how can you say that? You weren't there. Because I know it was true. I can feel it in my soul and in my heart that these things did happen. And I also see how the world does everything they can to destroy the image of that and what happened. And I can also see that literally the world powers themselves are trying to go back to the garden and alter the path to remove Christ, the history of Christ, from the existence as well, because they're already damned and they know they're going to hell and they want to drag us with them. But our Father in heaven is not going to allow it. But I can see the things that they're doing, like with CERN and so many other things, that's exactly what they're trying to do. You're talking about an angel. Remember the poem that call it a poem, I guess, that George Bush did one time. He said, "Don't you know that there's an angel dancing in a whirlwind that directs this storm?" Remember he did that poem? And then if you go over there at CERN and you look at the statue that they've got there, all right. I turn my volume down here, guys. It's just y'all guys responding to what we're doing here, so I greatly appreciate it. But I forgot to turn my volume down before we got going. But if you go look at that statue that's outside and it's inside of a circle, and it's the statue, I think, of Shiva. It's a deity. It's an angel. And they got her shown dancing in a whirlwind. It's a 2D image. You're looking at it on a flat. The circle is actually three-dimensional all the way around in real life. And that is what an angel looks like. It's like fire in the sky. And inside of that white ball of light that you'll see is a host of heaven, of the heavens. It is an actual angel. So, anyways, I'll get off on a tangent in a second. let me have some water. You go ahead, Karen.
Okay. My final story that I was wanting to tell, well, I guess it's a testimony. It's not really a story because it's true. Stories are fake. Is a cedar tree falling. Back in March of 2020, we had some really bad storms that came through Tennessee. I had gotten up and something woke me up. I just couldn't sleep, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get up and my day off, of course. So I went and sat out in the garage and was just kind of waking up, trying to be quiet so I didn't wake my husband up. And all of a sudden, I started hearing, crazy you say that, whirlwinds. And it sounded like they were all around us. I mean, they were just everywhere. It didn't sound like one direction of wind. It was like whirlwinds everywhere around. And I was like, what in the world's going on? And all of a sudden, I heard this long lion's roar. Like, I've never heard a lion roar like that before, but I heard a long lion's roar and heard a huge noise. And I was like, something just happened, because we were having really bad storms. I went running into my husband because I'm like, that had to have woke him up. And I was like, wake up, wake up, wake up. Something just happened. He goes, yeah, look out the window. And I looked out the window and I saw nothing but green. And I went out to the back bedroom and I looked and nothing but green. And I was like, what in the world just happened? He said, well, it looks like cedar tree fell. So I went out back, out of the back door once everything kind of settled down and looked, because there was lightning and winds. It was insanely crazy. And one of the old large cedar trees that was right at our back house, I have no doubt should have fell on my house where my husband was asleep. I do believe the protection of an angel, whoever it was, I don't know, it could have been Archangel Michael, roared that tree away from my home, protected my husband. I don't know how well you can see this, but that is the tree my husband is sitting on when we were trying to get it up.
Here, wait a second. I'll put you.
All it did was flip the end of the house.
Put it back up there again.
That's how large that tree was, and the roots were twisted where it came up out of the ground.
Well, it landed right on the edge of your house, didn't it?
Yeah, and that's part of the branches and stuff had been removed, and he got up there, and we were so overwhelmed. And of course, this was during a lockdown, and I was just, me and him both we were trying so hard. We're not experienced tree cutters. I have learned a lot more about cutting trees since then. And this was during the lockdown, and everybody was afraid of everybody. And we didn't really know any of our neighbors. And our neighbor that was up the street came walking down and stopped at the hill, and he's like, "Hey, is it okay if I come down?" And everybody was afraid of everybody. They didn't know what was. We're like, "Yeah, come on." So he comes down. Within a couple hours, he had that tree cut up. Me and my husband sat there thinking, we're never going to get this cut up. I was like, God, we need help. And let me tell you, Amazing Grace has never sounded so good than sitting there looking at that tree, knowing that we were protected. God will protect. You just have to trust him.
Yes, he will. I've experienced it in my life. See, when you read the Bible as much as I've done, and you start understanding the real world, WHIRLED, that we live in, and you understand that God said that he spoke out of the whirlwind, speaks out of the whirlwind, and angels fly in a whirlwind. It's a toroidal movement of energy. It's a point of creation that they can exist within, in which, of course, God exists within, and he speaks out of it. When you speak with the breath out of your mouth produces a torus right in front of every word.
Yeah.
You're creating with every word, or destroying.
Yeah.
Words are so powerful. We have, most of us don't understand how powerful they are.
Yeah, it says that blessing and curses should come from the same well, our mouths being the wells of water. It's either bitter water or sweet water.
Yep. Thinking about what you were saying about the cedar. It's interesting. It was a cedar tree too, as well, of course.
Yep.
That fell. And you see, when the angels, you said you heard like a whirlwind, and it was out of nowhere. Was there a storm going on or anything?
It sounded like there were whirlwinds everywhere. It wasn't just one, like a tornado you think of. It's like it was whipping everywhere, like there was whirlwinds everywhere all around. And the next thing I know, I heard this long, very powerful lion's roar. And I was like, what in the world? And then heard a big noise. And then we found the tree, and it actually, you could tell, I didn't get some really good pictures of the roots. I wish I got a better picture from where it was uprooted, but you could see on the roots where it actually twisted it, pushing it away from the house. And it should have come down right at the bedroom where my husband was sleeping, because I had already gotten up.
And there would be people that would be out there, and they would think, well, that's just crazy talk.
Well, they should have been out there and heard it with me.
However, let me tell you some real crazy talk. If you don't believe that, and I'll testify right now in front of God and everybody else, because this happened. And I've mentioned it before, but you're talking crazy talk, okay? That God can't intervene with angels on a spot. Boom, just like that. Just like that. That's how he works. Well, one night I was out, and it was late, and I was going home, and I was in a pickup truck. I was driving home, and I ran off the side of the road, and I picked a bad place to run off because it was a bridge. I fell asleep, and the bridge was flat, actually, and I was driving across it, but I didn't get to the bridge. I fell asleep and run off the edge of the road, and down here in the south, there'll be some deep swamps that'll drop off. It'll drop off into a ravine, a swamp,
Yep.
And the bridge will pass over it, still flat, and it's crossing the swamp. Well, I fell asleep, and what woke me up is when the mirror on the driver's side of the car smacked a pole that was right there beside the side of the bridge. I was already way off, so far off. The pole was like right here, and I should have been over here, and I was over here, and I ran off into the swamp. But here's the thing: is right when the mirror smacked, and it woke me up, and I looked and I realized I done really messed up here, and I'm fixing to get really hurt or die. I'm doing about 50 miles an hour. And because I should have just went right off into the swamp and stove down into the swamp into the bank, but I didn't. What happened was this: is that when when the pole smacked the mirror, it woke me up. I seen everything, and then everything went in slow motion.
Yeah.
Slow motion, and then as the truck is going off, like we're going down into the ravine, off the side of the bridge. I could see the bridge over here to my side. And all of a sudden, lights went out. And then instantaneously, it felt like, next thing I know is my truck is being dropped onto the highway. It drops on the highway, and I feel it settle like that because it's been dropped. And I'm still doing 50 miles an hour. I didn't even get the tires muddy, Karen. That's how God is right there. Bam. Bam.
Yeah. Well, I told you.
He can come any second and do anything.
Yeah, I told you before. I think we were off camera on that one, where somebody almost went to we were going to sideswipe, and I didn't really see it. And then they veered towards me, and when they did, I saw. It's like everything went kind of translucent. You know, when you look at a weather radar, how you can still see where things are, and it's kind of faded a little bit, but you can still see it. Our cars passed through each other. I literally saw it, and everything was in motion.
I remember you telling that story. Hang on just a second.
Yeah. Well, since he's busy and we're still live, crazy is a good thing. It means you're not like everybody else. Mom always said, be yourself. Sorry.
Yeah, don't deny the truth. Most people won't speak the truth, like what I just said about that, because that makes me crazy, because I'm saying something that's impossible. Well, let me tell you something. It ain't impossible. I'm not crazy, and I'm more intelligent than the average chicken. And these things, you got a chicken on you.
Well, and that's what I was saying when you kind of went to the side. I was like, I've always been called Crazy Karen. You know,
Crazy Karen.
My boss calls me that. He's called me that before any of that craziness went on in the world. I was the original. And it just means I'm not like everybody else. And You know what? I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be who I am. And you either like it or you don't.
Well,
and I still pray for you.
Right. I like you. I think you're all. Yeah, you don't want to conform just because other people might think something or might not like you because you're not pretending to be something you're not. Be what you are. Look at me. I let my hair grow all the way out till it's down to my butt. I let my beard grow way long. I don't care what other people think. I care what Father thinks.
He looks at the heart, not the outward appearance.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to learn to not worry about what people think, because if you're basing your life and your decisions on what other people think, you're going the wrong way. You're on the wrong path.
Yeah.
Well, got any other tidbits for us, Karen?
I was trying to think if there was something else.
I'll look in the comments there while you're thinking and see what's going on in there. I see y'all guys. Curious Georgia. Joe Shields from Boston. Daryl Calhoun. Randolph James. I see all y'all guys in there. Zamora. Is it Moriah? Something like that. Looks like somebody was telling a story in here too. Let me see if I can catch it. Maybe not. I think it was they were reacting to um, Kelly Powell's story when she was explaining things earlier, which I love. If you would write in, Kelly, go to the Supernatural, thus the Supernatural.Show. Y'all guys can submit your own stories on here. You can just go to the Supernatural.Show. You can submit your stories. You can also be a guest. It'll ask you if you want to come on and be a guest, just like what Karen's doing. Or you can just write your story out and I'll read it. I do shows where we'll just read stories sometimes because we want to hear the truth from the people. We're the people that don't think you're crazy and won't act like you're crazy and will actually show you respect because you're brave enough to speak out and tell the truth. That's the kind of people we are. So if you want to hang out with this kind of people, you want to go over to the Supernatural.Show, submit your story, sign up to be a member. Like I said before, there's 3 different levels of membership. There's level 1, which is free, gives you access to a number of things. Level 2 gives you a whole bunch more access to communicating with all the members and everything like that, as well as some other things. And level 3 gives you access to Beyond the Veil, which is all the videos that I do and put out that never make it to YouTube. And inside conversations like between me and Dan or me and Shannon or me and other people, as a matter of fact. And that's Beyond the Veil. And that's where we're going to be going when we're doing shows in the future. We're not going to do it today. We did it the other day where we do about 45 minutes of the Supernatural show. And then we close the Supernatural show, meaning we turn off YouTube. We turn off Instagram, Facebook, those kind of places where you get censored if you're telling the truth too much. Turn all those off and leave the other 5 that platforms where we can speak the truth. Because, like I said, we're on 8 platforms live right now around the world. And based on the website statistics, we've got people from basically every country in the world coming to the website. And when y'all guys go there, look around and stuff. Make sure you leave something too. Bring a gift when you come, like some information or some knowledge or a link. And speaking of that, if y'all guys see any supernatural videos, one, you can go on the website and submit them on there. Supernatural videos that you want me to see, whether you want me to tell you if it might be real or what I think about it, or pictures, photos, you can text them to that number that you see right there. Okay? That's the number to the Supernatural Show. If you're having a problem on the website or you really need some help with something, you can call me at that number and I'll either answer or Miss Kim will answer or maybe even Shannon will answer. But most of the time, it's going to ring me first, so I'll probably be the one that's answering. But it's 843-402-8827. So you can call that number if you've got a problem with the website or if you really, really need to speak to me. Or you can text us at that number as well. You can send us a link to a video that you want me to see, send us a photo, whatever you want. You can text things to that number as well. And so we can keep up with what's going on out there. Y'all guys you've got 100,000 eyes. I've only got 2, can only see so much and spend so much time. So I want y'all guys to keep that number in your phone and send me stuff so that way I can bring it on the show and let everybody know about it. Kind of like there was a viral Bigfoot video going around on TikTok. And the woods people, they're real, but this video was fake. It was a hoax. And a guy up in Alaska, I guess, that lives up there, that he does hoax videos of Bigfoot and trying to get attention to his channel and stuff like that. So he's a liar, he's a deceiver. But on a subject that he doesn't really realize, that he lives in a place up there in Alaska where he may run into one day. They might not like what he's doing, but anyways, that's on the Supernatural Show channel and on my Logic Before Authority channel, where you can go and check it out if you want it, where I showed that this was a hoax video the guy was doing. So So that's the Supernatural.Show website. Again, that's the phone number there. So make sure all y'all guys have that in your cell phone, because there's going to come a day where something's going to happen, and you're going to need to speak to someone who has a voice that can get out there and let people know about it. And that's me. So, any thoughts, Karen?
I think, well, when you were talking, I don't really have another story. I think it's more of, with everything that everybody is going through, all of us have different levels. Just know, if you're going through a lot of bad stuff, you still have hope. The Father's not forgot you. Jesus felt that when he was on the cross, and the Father saw everything going on, and he had to turn his face. He has not forgotten us. He wants to see we can walk by faith. If you're going through some really bad times, you're being refined as fine gold and fine silver, and It will be worth it. And if you look around, I was thinking this morning, because it's snowing here, as everybody knows. Tennessee's gotten bombarded all the way across the state, all 430 to 40 miles, something like that. None of us are worthy. None of us can do it on our own. We have to just walk by faith, not by sight, even when things don't look good. And when I saw the snow falling this morning, the only thing I could think of is we're washed whiter than snow. None of us are worried. None of us deserve this. We're all guilty of something. But thankfully, we have an advocate, and we have to keep lifting each other up. We have to keep enduring, because it will be worth it. God says so. These people with floods, I see the flooding going on. We've had some floods. I guess last week we had flooding. Reminds me of being washed by the water of the Word. And we do a lot of that here. I think what we were taught is been kind of taken out of context, and we're realizing that it's deeper than what we have been taught from the days of old, because the books are opening. I mean, everything's starting to be understood.
Yep. Everything's being made known.
I mean, none of us are worthy. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. That's the wonderful thing. It's available for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. How else did y'all guys think? I mean, the Bible talks about it. It talks about the separating of the wheat from the chaff. Okay, you're the wheat, right? You say, well, God, why are you allowing these terrible things to go on? You're being tested to see if you're going to turn your back, or whether you're going to stand and stay on the narrow path, no matter what happens, because you know that this life is not the one to be worried about losing. It's your second life.
Modern day.
Don't let the demons drag you to hell because you get a bad attitude. You want to, no matter how bad it gets, if you're still breathing, you're still good. And you got to hold that strength until the end. You must endure.
Well, it's not trying to interrupt, but it's easy to lash out and respond negative. But what takes real, and it's by the power of God, we can't do it when bad times or someone's attacking you or yelling at you, is being able to control your tongue and not bite back, but repay kindness. That shows true strength, and that comes from God.
That makes me think of the lady who called me the other day on the show phone number, and I answered, and she was going through, physically, health-wise, going through horrible sounding stuff. I mean, horrible sounding. I'm not going to repeat the things she said out of respect for what she told me, and I didn't ask if I could talk about it. And I haven't released it on Beyond the Veil either, because, again, it was just horrible things that she's going through. And the doctors are telling her, you need to do this, you need to do that. And she says, no, basically, I'm not worried about this life. I'm gonna stand where I stand and let God choose to have me here or take me away, because she's concerned about her ultimate life, And I mean, you talking about a brave woman. This is on a whole nother level, Karen. This lady, I want to say some of the things she told me, but I just can't. And
Strength to do what she did.
incredible. I prayed with her and talked with her and gave her some advice on some things she could do to try to help her. She's being, her body is being attacked by a frequency,
Mm-hmm.
which the devil is the prince of the air, right? Where did we think he's going to come from? He's going to come from these satellites put out by this company that's called X. X is the most simple form of the mark of the beast. And her body is, because of her blood type, she's O negative. She's in her case and in her location, her body is being beat to pieces by this stuff, these frequencies that are being put out by all these cells that they got around. And if y'all guys want to see something that all of you should actually know about and read, I'm going to add, let me remove this banner here real quick. Sorry, okay, let me take that off. Okay, let me share my screen again real quick. I want to show y'all guys something. If you go to the home page on the website and you come down here, this is some conversation the other day where I was talking about the frequency stuff. And if you come here, and if you says, and I can't speak these words on here, okay, but I'm assuming you can see them. It says how towers can attack skin cells, and how there's scientific proof showing this. This link right here, if you click this link, it's going to pull up a scientific report that shows how these frequencies communicate directly with the skin cells on your body, which are your first layer of defense for your body. The skin is the first layer of defense. What gets cut first? The skin. But if you go here and you read this, matter of fact, I'll click on it real quick. It's going to bring you to this page, which is called the People's Library, where you can go yourself and upload anything you want for other people to see. If you come here and you come down and you click on that word right there, the CORON word with the V, if you click on that and open that folder, there is a scientific report in here that explains exactly how it works. And they know how it works. But you can read all about it right here on the website. So I would encourage you to go over there and do just that. Make sure you check that report out, because it's getting to our entire body through communicating with our skin cells. Unless you are one of the ones that took the snake bite, and then it's communicating on a whole nother level with you, unfortunately. But our Father in heaven can do all things. So I would get on my knees and pray if I were you, if you took that snake bite. You can also come here and look at some of the stuff that I recommended for her to protect herself. Simple Mylar blankets. Like if you take a Mylar blanket, which is noisy and kind of uncomfortable, but if you take it and put it in between your sheet, under you, and your bed, and then you take one and put it on under your comforter on top of you, in between the comforter and a sheet. Yeah, it'll be a little noisy, but you won't have very little frequencies affecting you at nighttime when you sleep. And so, yeah, the old days of people teasing people about a tinfoil hat, those days are over, because those guys were made fun of for a reason, because of what they knew that was coming. So probably enough said on that subject before I get kicked off of everywhere. But we'll talk about that in Beyond the Veil again here real soon. Get into it where we can speak completely freely.
Well, where you were talking about the evil side of things that goes on in the world, you got to think too. I have some understanding as far as skin. how it affects us. Well, it's the largest organ we have. Anything you put on you, it absorbs in. Whether it's lotion, it doesn't matter. Being the largest organ, if you think about it, it made me think of a covering, and like where Jesus had the hem of his garment. Well, if we're covered from head to toe with skin, our garment, the woman walked by faith. When she touched Jesus's hem, she was healed. So there may be a correlation on God's side where they try to, there's always what God intends, man plans, God laughs. Don't forget that. Because I think it's going to get interesting with life. If there's a good thing, there's always going to be another counter side. No, it's just when you said that and think keywords, I thought, well, that's the largest organ of the body. And then when you said all the way down to down all the way down to your feet, well, isn't that where the hem is on Jesus? I don't know. I spoke it. Which
no, it's good.
Maybe somebody can have some understanding that understands, because it takes all of us to figure this out.
Well,
it's not.
If you go back to the garden where it talks, talking about Adam and Eve, and when it was just Adam, he was without flesh, and then there came a point where a covering was given to them, and they had flesh, and then ultimately, then they became aware of what I call the point of creation. They became aware of how significant the things that I'm trying to teach to y'all guys, how significant they are. They then veiled them. Until this day, they still veil the points of creation on people's bodies. What things on a woman's body does she veil? She veils her private areas, top and bottom, of course. And a woman that's getting married will veil her face, things like this. We could get into a whole long, drawn out subject on this, which I'm not going to do. But yeah, no, you're thinking along the right lines, I think, Karen.
That's the thing I thought, and I thought, well, maybe there's some other people that maybe see something that we don't, because we have to work together. Not one person knows everything. We have got to learn to come and work together and figure this out together and walk by faith and not by sight, because the world's going to get interesting.
Yeah, it's going to get real interesting, and I'm here for y'all guys, and this show is here for y'all guys. This is your show. This is your website. I'm doing everything I can to make it y'all guys' and give you access to being able to even come on and do your own shows and tell people, being able to text me directly. If you send a text to that number that I put up earlier, which I'll do it one more time here before we end the show. Let's see here. Here it is. That number right there, you should have it in your cell phone, because if you're seeing anything going on, you can send me the videos and the photos, and you can send me the links if you see something that's happened wherever in the world. And if it's something you think I need to see or that other people need to see, send it to that number. And you can also call that number, like I said, not for just a bunch of small talk. It has to be something important, like something's wrong on the website, or you're having a hard time, or there's something really important you need to call me with, because you can imagine if I was to answer every phone call to just people that just want to chat. However, you can actually set up a supernatural consultation with me on the website. It's right underneath the homepage on the website. You can set up an appointment to talk to me, or Shannon, or our advisor, spiritual advisor, Dan, as well. So with that being said, guys, Miss Karen, I greatly appreciate you coming back again. I got a feeling we'll see you again.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy talking, as you can tell.
Yep, she enjoys talking and enjoys the truth and enjoys celebrating that truth and glorifying our Father's words. So yeah, I think we'll see you again. And guys, don't forget, if you would please, just hit the thumbs up button before you bail out of here. Whatever platform you're on, wherever you're at, whether it be thumbs up, whatever, it helps. But what'll help even more is sharing, because YouTube's not going to share this or allow this to be in the feed, you might say, okay? The only way this information is going anywhere is it's in your hands. I've done my part, okay? it's on you. And I'm just, again, telling you the truth. I'm not trying to put a guilt thing on you, but it's just the fact. It's the truth. The only way this show grows or is successful is if you share this with anyone and everyone and don't worry about what people think. Oh, I wouldn't want to share this crazy woman, this crazy man with people that I know because they'll think I'm crazy. Okay. Be careful which side you choose. I love you. And Miss Karen, thank you again. I appreciate you greatly. And I'll see you right here after the show for a second, okay?
Yeah, it was talking to you and telling some more of my story, and it never ends.
All right. Well, that's good because we'd like to hear from you again. So, but until next time, guys, we'll see you next time here on the Supernatural Show.